make sure that you understand the state of your business and the state of your business as frequently as you can, right? So it's one thing to check in every 6 months, but so much can happen in that period of time. I mean, if you can check in every day and you can just get a quick snapshot of where the business is, that's so powerful.
This is Growth in Dentistry, a dental intelligence podcast where we ask the question, what does growth in dentistry look like to you? I'm Katie Polson, a dental hygienist and your host. Welcome to Growth in Dentistry, a dental intelligence podcast. I am Katie Polson, and we are very excited for our in-house guest. I don't have I'm usually in here by myself, just me and my computer. So it's really exciting to have somebody to sit next to me and chat. So I'll introduce our guest in just a minute, but just a little housekeeping for those of you that are first listeners to our podcast. Welcome. So glad to have you. Another place that you can get awesome information is our Facebook Dental Intelligence Podcast community. Come join like-minded data nerds. We have a lot of fun talking about numbers and how it applies to your company, and so come join us there. If you are a current customer, we'd love for you to join our DI community and our analytics platform. You guys, we're going through rebranding. It's gonna take me a minute to stop saying growth and say analytics. That being said, please join us there. It's a great space. Customers have an opportunity to talk about topics on forums and join other people and learn how to implement dental intelligence and data in their practice. So if you're not a current customer of ours, which why wouldn't you be? But if you want to be, you can do that by going to get.dentalintel.com/podcast, and you will get a $50 gift card when you complete a demo by giving that link, and I'll put that in our show notes. So that being said, without further ado, many of you are aware that the founder and CEO, Weston Lunsford, stepped down probably, a while ago. It's been a while. And although he's still serving on our board and involved in the community, in his place came an amazing new leader, and we're so grateful to have Dan Geraty with us in the company, and it's been a pleasure to have had two mighty men now with different strengths and amazing things. So I wanted to talk and use this platform in dentistry to let people get to know you a little bit better, and also I had the opportunity we just did a mastery summit, and I literally happened to tune in for only 45 minutes. And there's your talk was the only, I didn't even know you were talking.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I was like, I did this on purpose. But anyway, there's just so much value that can be learned outside of dentistry, and I know that there's a lot of dental practice owners that are looking for advice outside of out of our immediate community. So grateful that you're here.
Glad to be here. I'm happy I could be in the room, keeping you company.
Yes, yeah. Dan normally, he lives in, I guess I'm not going to tell him, because then in our pre-show we talked about how it was getting populated, but St. Louis and Big Sky, so right. we're excited to have him. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
Sure, yeah. Like you said, I was actually born and raised in St. Louis, so been there a long time. I started my career in public accounting, so the analytics portion of DI really kind of speaks to me. I know that that's kind of the heritage of DI and of the analytics platform. After that, I spent a lot of time in sort of middle market and startup enterprises. And in 2005, I started a company called Clearant. It's since been rebranded Explore, XPLOR. And it's a fintech company, and what we do is facilitate payments, and so debit and credit card payments from merchants, including dental offices. Yeah. That's where we started, and then about 5 or 6 years ago, we started acquiring software companies. So in different vertical markets like personal services or field services like HVAC repair or gym management software, and then healthcare and childcare management software. So software and payments is where I come from, and there's, even though dentistry is its own completely unique world, there are just a lot of analogous things between the software that we bought and that we ran in those different verticals and what we do here at DI. Yeah, really great. So I'm just trying to put yourself in I've never been a CEO, I'm a hygienist, so why choose
why did you choose dental intelligence? I'm sure you had a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. So a couple of things that I already spoke to, right? So I love the analytics platform just again because I love numbers. I'm a numbers kind of a geek, and love just looking at all the graphs and trying to better understand what that means for the business underlying those numbers. Also, again, people might say HVAC, software to run an HVAC business has nothing to do with dentistry, but it kind of does. You have to know how well your technicians are doing. You have to attract new customers. You have to know how much you're making from each customer. You have to basically run the business. All of those software solutions that we had were designed so that they would help run the business, and so the person who started the business would be able to do what they were passionate about, right? And so if it was running a gym and you're passionate about running a gym, you want the software to take care of the other stuff. And if you're passionate about taking care of kids at a child care, that's what you want to do, and you want the software to run the business for you. And so even though they seem like completely different things, there's a lot of similarities really in terms of building software that takes the burden off of the person running the company and lets them do what they're really passionate about.
Yeah.
And so DI, completely speaks to the mission of dentistry, right? So it's one thing again to talk about HVAC repair. Some people really are passionate about it, believe it or not, but it's not the same as an actual healthcare.
Interested to know that people are really passionate about dentistry, but here we are.
Yes, they are. I know that they are. It's only been 6 or 7 months that I've been here. I know that the passion runs deep for dentistry, and I understand why too.
Yeah.
Good oral care is really, really important.
Yeah, awesome. There are a lot of, this is the reason why when we created this podcast over a year ago, we named it Growth in Dentistry, because growth is really important to the reason why we created the product, the reason how we treat our customers, and we hope that comes across. And as far as when our practices grow, we grow, but what are kind of some of the things that you're most excited about as far as dental intelligence and the growth and looking forward to?
Yeah, I've been in, as I said, sort of medium-sized and fast-growing businesses my whole career, and it's just that scaling up and doing, it's a little like providing in a dental office, continuing to provide great service to everybody who comes in that door, but being able to bring more and more people in the door. So we have the same sort of scaling problem at DI. We want to bring on more and more customers, but we want to make sure that the experience those customers have is always improving. And so the bigger you get, the more of a challenge that becomes. And I've seen it. The company I started grew to be what is now 10 times larger than DI. And so there's a lot of scaling that went into that, and it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge to make sure that you can continue to improve on your service to your customers, even though you're getting bigger and growing quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure we can make the parallels, and I would love to do that, because there are a lot of people listening to the show, a lot of customers that they want to scale their business. That's why they got dental intelligence, right? They're looking for areas of where they can optimize and make better decisions so that they can treat more people. And what are some of the parallels or advice that the goal with this podcast really is 30 minutes short. Somebody's listening on the way to work. Maybe some advice that you can give to those small business owners. It's not this. It is this. It's kind of the same.
Well,
on a very pared down.
There are some things that are similar across all businesses. The first is you just always have to know where your business stands, right? And DI is so instrumental in that, right?
Yeah.
So you just really have to understand, are we growing? Are we shrinking? Are we getting more profitable, less profitable? Are we bringing in more patients? Are we, providing more treatments? How's everybody in my office doing? So those are sort of fundamental and universal across all businesses. And so the first thing I would say is just make sure that you understand the state of your business and the state of your business as frequently as you can, right? So it's one thing to check in every 6 months, but so much can happen in that period of time. If you can check in every day and you can just get a quick snapshot of where the business is, That's so powerful.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I would say. I would also say just kind of, you have to have a system of managing your business, right? So you have to know, you have to have a cadence of the right kind of meetings. Like we use level 10 meetings around here because they're just really, we find them to be really great for execution. Kind of keeps people moving forward. It's not about a readout of like what's happened. It's more about, okay, what are we trying to do and are we achieving our objectives? So a system for managing your business, I think, is really, really important. And then the objective, what is the end game in your mind? It might be far off, it might be 25 years in the distance, but, are you thinking about retirement? Are you thinking about selling? Are you thinking about growing? Are you thinking about buying? And what do you have to do in order to be prepared to do each one of those or pursue each one of those avenues? So I just kind of always have that end goal in mind, and then you can kind of work backwards from there in terms of the objectives to get there. So, none of those are like earth-shaking pieces of advice. No. They're totally, they're universal pieces of advice.
They're the one piece that the first piece that you gave, which was really interesting. I was able to interview his name was Matt Mohawk. He was a CP of Dentist Advisors, and he was on last week's show, and we were actually talking about preparing for like downtime, like if we end up going, I don't know, we might be in a recession, people, I don't know, I guess we'll find out when we get out of it, but that being said, we were talking about, what do dentists do to prepare for that, and his advice was similar to yours, which is just always have a pulse on your practice. And it seems simple to say that, but it is, in our industry, it's so tricky because the surgeons are the ones that are supposed to be keeping a track on that, right? Like my dad was a dentist. He spent Monday through Thursday, all day in the mouth. And then Friday was his day off, in quotes, where he spent looking at the numbers and going over his payroll and all of that, right? And so I think gone are those days of taking your day off to manage the business. Like we really, and I hope that's the goal. And I think the reason why you're passionate about being here, right, is making sure that we're providing a service to you in your practice so that you don't have to take your day off to manage the business part because you've been in the mouth all week.
Yeah, 100%. That's what we want to continually improve the tool, DI, the entire suite of products, so that you don't have to take a whole day to get a beat on your business.
Yeah,
you
really
can do
good.
it at a glance.
Yeah. Well, there.
Just to pick up on one thing you did say though, about whether or not we might be in a recession. I think that the news just doesn't seem very good, and so
I know.
So really being on your front foot instead of your back foot, and by that I mean just understanding are people starting to decline treatments because they just they're worried about their pocketbook, or they're worried about a recession, and if that were to happen, what would you do in your practice? So just to start to think about what a slowing economy means, not some dramatic what we saw back in 2006, 2007, but a slowing of the economy might mean for your business, and start, like I said, to be on the front foot and prepare for it versus waiting until it's upon us. And for instance, you're looking out at your appointment calendar and it's got a lot of empty holes in it because you weren't being proactive about getting patients in.
Yeah.
Knowing that treatment acceptance rates were going to go down, and so you want to see more patients.
Yeah. And we're recording this in July, but September is like notoriously slow in dentistry. And so I feel, I really hope that if I listen to this in September, I'm wrong. But between a slow September in general and also the economy, like I hope that people take this time to see what they can do to increase their case acceptance now, like to get people in the books, and optimize production or collections or whatever it is through payment solutions. That's part of the reason why we love that you're here, right? And that's one of the things that we're excited to offer people is a payment solution. But
yeah, and that's a good point, Katie. I think that getting ahead of that right now, trying to collect anything that might be starting to get kind of old before the pinch really hits people in the pocketbook even harder than it has already.
Yeah.
So, let's see, the DI payment solution is a great way to go do that, to try to collect
that's
the
a great idea. And it's not something that we haven't talked about. Yeah, for those of you that are listening that aren't aware, Dental Intelligence offers a payments solution, and we are officially at a flat rate fee of 2.59%, which is incredible because it's really not a payment solution; it's an accounts receivable solution. It's like nothing out there in the market.
Yeah, that's right. It's it's closer to a revenue cycle management solution than it is to what people think of or payments. What I used to do as payments.
Yeah.
It's really powerful because it allows you to look at what's getting old in your receivables book, figure out which ones the claims have settled against, and then start a series of campaigns to the customers who have outstanding balances, and have them receive a text message, say every 7 days, reminding them they should pay that outstanding balance, and allowing them to do it either by text or linking to a payments page. And we've seen practices collect thousands of dollars that they thought they may never see again.
Yeah.
And so, again, I would just kind of urge people to think
we
about
had a practice
going
collect $20,000 in a week.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
I know.
$20,000 that they might not have ever collected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that's one thing, I guess, one big takeaway for me, and hopefully a takeaway for our listeners is, because right now, and we have data from over 9,000 practices, and we looked at case acceptance, and right now it doesn't seem like it's changed in the last 6 months. And I said this last week, I was at the mall, and no one seems to be like not spending, so
yeah.
So that's a good thing, but if you can get ahead of it, do it now, like don't wait.
Right. Yeah, it's completely true that dental offices, dental practices are really resilient, but it's better to be prepared always.
Well, I think if there's one thing that 2020 has taught us, because I thought I was in a very secure job, and then all of a sudden I was like, what?
Now you're in a closet doing podcasts.
We're shutting down? I know. Why am I shutting down? Anyway, so I think dentistry has changed their opinion on their ability to just
weather the storm.
Weather the storm, yeah, hopefully.
Well, that was a unique storm.
Yes, I hope we never do that again. But, well, this has been a super quick half an hour for me. We ask this question of every single one of our guests, and it's because it's our bread and butter, growth. So what does growth in dentistry mean to you? Interesting, because you've been in this market for 6 months.
Yeah, only 6 months, but I think we touched on it.
Yeah.
It's the ability to scale your business and to at the same time do what you're passionate about. So I think that growth in dentistry means the ability to, as you said, be in the mouth and have the software, the solutions, the tools be taking care of the rest of it for you, so you don't have to focus on it. And so if that's about growing your practice, that's one thing. Or if it's that your practice is running well thanks to DI and you're really more about personal growth and there are other things that you want to do, I understand that too. It's not always about growth.
Yeah.
But it's some kind of growth. It may not just be about your top line growth in your practice, but we're here to help either way.
Yeah, really great. Well, this has been fun. Thank you for taking the time out of whenever he's
Likewise.
Here, he's always so busy, but I'm so grateful. This has been Growth in Dentistry, a dental intelligence podcast. Special thanks again to Dan, our CEO. And you can find the link to get.dentalintel.com/podcast in our show notes for completing a demo. You get a $50 gift card. And thank you to our marketing department for all their work on this podcast. I'm Katie Polson. Keep growing.